Welcome to my channel. I am so passionate about mindset. I am a health and fitness coach and a life coach. I am a fitness and life coach. So I really focus on helping people build the bodies that they are obsessed with, look in the mirror and be like, oh my God, that's actually me. I can't believe it. I'm so proud. Not be afraid to try on clothes, take the selfies, take all of the pictures, and just become totally obsessed with the process and with who they are, who they've showed up as, with who they've become. And obviously in order to make an insane physical transformation, we need to prioritize our fitness, and we need to prioritize our nutrition, we need to prioritize the process and do the practical things. But what I have realized from being a coach in this space for 7 years is that the mindset is the major barrier that's holding everyone back. If we are not working on here, nothing is going to change down here down. Our mindset literally drives our behavior. So I wanted to create this channel to just focus on mindset and focus on the blocks that people experience when it comes to progress, when it comes to achieving what they want to achieve, and kind of unpack specific things and help you overcome them. So we'll dive into different specific things and how I would work with my clients to push through usually it's limiting beliefs, and overcome them and ultimately see the results that you really deserve. So that is what this channel is about. So we're trying out this YouTube thing. Firstly, don't judge my background. Don't judge my setup. I don't have any money to put behind these things yet. But if you watch my videos and if you enjoy what I have to say and you subscribe to my email list and you join my coaching program, then things could probably improve. So, that's just it. This is my first time doing YouTube. I have a podcast called Mindset Meets Muscle that I do with my bestie, Diamond Fitness. I also have another podcast which is fully for my coaching clients called the TLC Podcast. I have Instagram, obviously, which is Tasha Lancaster Coaching, TikTok, Tasha Lancaster Coach, Facebook. I'll put everything in the description. But I also have Substack. That's going on as well. But I thought YouTube is kind of the place to be. And long form content, I think, is having a real comeback because AI is fucking the fitness industry, like, completely. No one knows what's real anymore. So I thought I would just show my face in a bit more long form content vibes. I love the podcast. I love long form. I think it's where I actually have my best work. So I would appreciate the follow. I'd appreciate the subscribe. I'd appreciate any comments. Hate, love, doesn't matter. It boosts the algorithm. So yeah, I wanted to kick off my first video by talking about why I think people fail when it comes to their health, their fitness, their success, like any kind of goal that you have. The reason why people fail is usually the same. And from coaching women now for the past 7 years, I've noticed this pattern as to why people fail, give up. And I wanted to discuss it, unpack it, and give you ways that you can actually overcome it. So the reason people fail is not because they're not capable of what it is that they want to do. It's because they are uncertain of whether they're actually going to get there, and they can't handle that uncertainty. They can't handle not seeing results fast enough. They can't handle that doubt of whether they're actually going to get there. And then they then just give up, because actually that's a way of protecting themselves against potential failure of that risk. Someone would rather give up and say, oh, it didn't work because I didn't do the work, than doing the work and risking it not working. And that kind of is where most people stay stuck. But actually, ironically, if we do the work, it will work. Like, there is no doubt about it. If you put in the time and the effort, you will get what you want. I think it's Hormozy that says, put in so many hours to the thing that you want to do, that you want to achieve, that it almost becomes unusual that you're not going to get to where you want to go. I think that's it. I probably botched it, but you get the gist. So I want to break this down and sort of help you overcome this, because I really do think this is keeping a lot of people stuck. And if you want to see results, if you want success in life, in health, in business, in fitness, in your body, relationships, you have to dive all in, and you have to be okay with the fact that, yeah, it is a risk and the results are not yet known, because we don't know, like, we've never been there. But back yourself and it will pay off. So the first one that I want to break down is the fear of the unknown. So we don't know what we don't know. We don't know if this is going to work. We don't know how long it will take. We don't know what the outcome is going to look like. That uncertainty is just very paralyzing to us as human beings. It's, as I said, we kind of steer away from that because we don't know the outcome, and we want to protect ourselves if it doesn't work, if we don't get the outcome that we want, because we're emotionally tied to the outcome that we want. So our brain is wired to seek certainty, and uncertainty triggers anxiety. That makes you want to quit. protecting yourself from not seeing the outcome that you potentially want makes you want to quit. And most people stop here before they even give themselves a chance, before they even take the risk, before they even back themselves and think, do you know what? Like loads of other people have done it. Why am I any different? Like, I should give this a go. People stop before they even get there. You don't actually need to know what the outcome is going to be, but you need to know the process. That is key. There are so many blueprints of successful processes to get to where you want to go that other people have done, that you can take from, that you can learn from, that you can literally just pick up and apply to your own situation. And there's a lot of evidence that these processes have worked. So you just need to know what that process is, and you need to take that next step, as opposed to thinking of that overarching scary goal, which is maybe I want to lose 20 kg. That's not gonna happen today. So instead of being overwhelmed and thinking that's such a massive goal, like how the hell am I going to get there? Just think, okay, how can I lose 500 grams this week? What do I have to do to lose 500 grams this week? Times that by 10 weeks, you've lost 20 kg. But we go in so fixated on that big overarching end goal, it becomes overwhelming. We feel uncertain. We obviously don't see those results immediately. So we just give up, when actually we should really just be focusing on the process. Have that end goal. Yeah, it's in the back of your head. Have that end goal, put it to one side. Focus on the process, focus on what you need to do every single day to get there. When you focus on that next step instead of the final outcome, your fear disappears, because you've got a plan, you've got something in place, you know what you're doing, you know what needs to be done, and the next step is always achievable, and you always know what that next step actually is going to be. And ultimately, you then achieve the goal that you want to achieve, because you're in a place where you feel safe, you feel comfortable, you've got a plan. You just have to execute that plan, and the process will work. You have evidence that the process is going to work. You just got to do it. You got to show up. Fear of the unknown is something that really thrives in big picture thinking of those big picture overarching goals, that things that almost seem like right now impossible. But when you just focus on the next step, that fear of the unknown dies. That's what you got to do. The second barrier is a lack of your self-belief. You don't believe that you can do it. You're on this journey, or you want to be on this journey, but deep down, you don't have faith in yourself. You don't feel like you're capable. Maybe you don't believe you deserve it. Why? Potentially you've failed before. Maybe you've tried a diet and you quit. Maybe it was like the worst thing ever, like keto, and you couldn't stick to it. No shit, me neither. So you don't have evidence of success yet. You've got evidence of what didn't work. So you don't believe in yourself, of course. Like, that's all you know. But self-belief is not something that we are born with. It's not something that we just have. It's something that you build through collecting evidence that what you're doing is working. So every time you show up, that's building evidence that you're doing the thing, that you're putting effort towards the person that you want to be. Every time you stick to your plan, and maybe you look in the mirror and think, I look a little bit leaner this week, or you step on the scale and you've dropped 500 grams this week. That's evidence that the plan is working. We need to stack up this evidence. We need to collect this evidence. We need to sit and celebrate this evidence. This is showing that yourself that you can do it. And this evidence is what builds that self-belief. So the key here is stop waiting to believe in yourself. Start showing up. Believe in the process. Remember, we talked about the process. We've got to focus on the process. Believe in the process. The process will bring you the result that you want. That creates evidence. That leads to you believing in yourself. That is the key. You need to let the evidence build your self-belief. The third barrier, moving on from going a little bit deeper into collecting the evidence, you have to collect your data. Your data is a form of progress, is a form of evidence. If we're not collecting our evidence, if we're not collecting our data, if maybe just every now and then we think, oh, I look quite good today, and that's it. Like, we don't really know that we're doing the right thing. We don't know that actually what we're doing is working. So we need to make sure that we are tracking our data, and we're tracking that evidence, and we're creating this graph, this pattern, this trend, that what we're doing is moving us in the direction that we want to go. If we don't have this, immediately when we have a day where we have a little bit of self-doubt, it happens, it's normal, where maybe we don't see progress for a couple of weeks, happens, it's normal, we're going to immediately revert back to, oh, this is not working, so I may as well just give up, because we haven't tracked, we don't have that evidence. If we collect our data, if we look at our trends, we have a couple of weeks where we don't see anything, but then we look back and think, okay, if I think logically, I've seen really good progress up until this point, I could probably afford 2 weeks of kind of not seeing any data, and plateaus are normal, it happens. I'm happy with how far I've come. Obviously what I'm doing is working. 2 weeks in the great scheme of things is really nothing. I can just keep moving forward. We need to collect that data. We need to have this visually that we can see it and let ourselves know that, yeah, you are doing the right thing. We need to be able to see that for our brain to then be like, okay, I do believe in myself. I do trust myself. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving forward. This is just a little blip. success is never linear. Let's just stay on track. Evidence is the bridge between action and belief, okay? And without it, you are literally flying blind. If you're flying blind, chances are you're going to crash. You're not going to get to where you want to go. You see these things, you see the evidence, your brain then believes it's working. When your brain believes it's working, you're more inclined to keep going. You're more bought into the process. You've invested more into the process. You're so much more likely to keep going. Remember, as I said, the only way that you can fail is if you quit. And we need to do everything that we can to keep us moving forward, to keep us on this path and not give up. And ultimately, this is why people don't see results, is because they give up. We need to make sure that not only do we have a process that works, but we need to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to make sure that we can stick to that process forever. Because if we can't stick to it forever, we're not going to see the results forever and we're going to revert backwards. So this is really the key when it comes to progress, is making sure that we keep ourselves on the path, doing everything that we can to keep ourselves on that path. Lastly, this one is important. Small wins are everything. So obviously collecting evidence is a way to show us that we're doing the right thing, that we're moving forward. We've got to celebrate those wins. You've got to celebrate the reinforcement that we are doing the right thing, that we are moving in the direction that we want to go. You've got to be proud of yourself for that. You're so focused on your big goal that's so far away and is going to remain so far away until you get there. And once you've get there, you've probably moved the goalpost miles away anyway. So actually, you don't even celebrate that. If we are so focused on that, we're never going to celebrate the small wins. We're never going to celebrate the little achievements. And those are what keep us going. Little by little, a little becomes a lot. That is one of my absolute favorite sayings. And we have to be proud of ourselves for achieving those little things, because the little things are what accumulate into that bigger overarching goal. As I said, think of that big goal. You've got it. Don't be afraid to dream big. You bloody deserve whatever it is that you want to achieve, but you have to let it go and then focus on the process. Once you know what it is, visualize it, get comfortable with it, let it go. Without celebrating your small wins, you're so much more likely to lose motivation. You're so much more likely to forget that it's actually working. You feel like you're probably not progressing fast enough, so you quit. I want you to celebrate every single tiny freaking win, okay? If you woke up before your alarm today, that's a win. If you got out of bed straight away as opposed to snoozing it and scrolling on your phone, that's a win. If you drank one more glass of water than you normally do, that's a win. The smallest wins, doesn't matter, big or small, wins are wins. We need to celebrate every single one. When you celebrate these small wins, two things are happening. Your brain releases dopamine, which is literally a motivation chemical. It motivates you to keep going. You get excited about what it is you're doing. You feel inspired, feel happy. You know this is the right thing. You keep going. And you build momentum. Momentum is what carries you through that uncertainty. Small wins are like little teeny lily pads that get you to that big goal. You want to be able to get to that big goal. You got to leapfrog from each of these little lily pads. They're the fuel that gets you there. So you've got to keep going, celebrate them. You want to keep going, celebrate them. So in summary, I just want you to focus on the next step, not the final outcome. I want you to build self-belief through taking action and collecting evidence, not just positive thinking. Just believe it. No, you have to actually take action and collect evidence to be able to believe in yourself. Track your progress, write it down, so you do actually see that evidence, so your brain sees that evidence. And celebrate your small wins to build momentum and keep going. Because as I said, ultimately the most important thing about achieving what we want is to just keep going and never stop, never quit. These are what separate people who achieve their goals from the people that quit and the people that don't. If you master these, I guarantee you can push past any barrier. This is like your gold mine, your lock and key to get there. If you found this helpful, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more content like this, then please subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the podcast, follow me on Instagram. I will link everything below. And if you want to join me in the Transform Club, which is my coaching community, then head to the link in the description and you can find more information there. I appreciate you for being here for this first video. Here's to hopefully many more if I can get my head in the game and be consistent. Okay, intro.